Okay, so obviously I haven't showered yet. I still have paint in my hair from last night and I'm in my bathrobe. And it's 90 degrees, but I'm wearing a fleece bathrobe anyway because that's how we roll. Anyway, behind me is my painting of Sophie Scholl. Sophie, I think I've talked about in a couple of videos, was was a German. She was in the Nazi youth movement, but soon realized, or as she got a little bit older, and she had her eyes opened, and she realized what was going on. She learned about the concentration camps, the people being killed, people being tortured and experimented on by the Nazis. And so she and some friends at the University of Munich started a small uprising of their own. They put out leaflets. They called themselves the White Rose Society, or White Roses, and they put out the White Rose pamphlets. There were only 7 pamphlets that went out, but it started to turn the public against the Nazi Party, those 7 little pamphlets. She is actually one of a core group of 6 people that were responsible for 4. But there were 2 more that were printed up. Those people, of course, were arrested, like Sophie Scholl, and executed. Now, in my painting, I don't use a lot of symbolism when I'm painting, because I find heavy symbolism tiring and predictable and slightly amateurish and uninventive. However, I've used it here. I have Sophie. I'm using a photograph of Sophie when she was just reading. It's a casual photograph of her reading. And of course, as we know, the Nazis burned books. So I really love this photograph of her. This is when she's in the throes of discovering how absolutely horrible the government is, and the movement and the things that are going on. You know, what a mark they're going to make on history as a country. So what I've done in here, I have her last speech. She was arrested after dropping leaflets. She and her brother had dragged 2 suitcases full of White Rose pamphlets into, I believe into the University of Munich, and let them fly through the courtyard. And they wouldn't have been caught except for one janitor saw them and turned them in to the Gestapo. So she and her brother were arrested. They were put on. They were tried by, of course, Nazi judges with a Nazi audience. They were put on trial, found guilty, and executed within a few hours. So, and she was 21 or 22. I'm sorry, I can't remember right now. But in her, when she was standing in the tribunal in front of Gestapo and Nazis, she told them, she said, soon you will be where we are. And she had these really wonderful speeches, short speeches that she gave them, like just calm and clear. And I found them so deeply compelling that I've written part of the speeches in the back. I have some more that are going to go down here. Some of her words. You will be soon. You will be where we are now. And they were hung. They were tried. They were tried. Some were murdered. Some were imprisoned. Nazis and Gestapo and SS. But so I have some of her words. They're written in pencil, so you can't see them particularly clearly. It's not boom, 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 boom. You really have to pay attention, like Sophie and other people who fought against the Nazis within the German party. You really have to focus, and you have to turn and look to really read what she had to say. But I've added, here's the symbolism part, I've added white roses, of course, which seems just a little too easy for me, too much of a crutch. But what I did was I have 7 roses over here for the 7 pamphlets they put out. Four of them, 7, sorry, I just got lost in my counting. 7 roses over here for the 7 pamphlets. I have 6 white roses over here for the 6 core members of White Rose. But then I have 80 more roses outlined throughout. That's for the 80 other people that were arrested as a result of she and her brother being caught distributing pamphlets, anti-Nazi pamphlets. Those 80 people were arrested, some were imprisoned, some were murdered. I also have, oh no, I'm sorry, I've got that wrong. There's 23 other roses. There's only 23 more roses outlined. That's for the 23 people who stole and supplied paper, printing ink, a press. They helped them financially. They helped to keep this movement going. That's the 23 other roses. And then I have 80 people as a result of White Rose were captured, tried, imprisoned, or murdered, executed. So I have 80 lines. The original thought on my lines with the colors in between was that I was mimicking prisoners' stripes, and that grayish, greenish, just the shirts and pants, and oh God, my head, what prisoners were wearing in prison camp, the striped uniforms, and how dingy and dirty they were and torn up. I wanted to kind of reflect that in the stripes, but that now I have 80 stripes, one for each person that was imprisoned or executed as a result of the White Rose. So that's some of the symbolism in here. I've used a lot of green because it was the beginning, the spark of a movement that helped end the Nazi Party and helped them lose the war. So we've got like the spring green, we have blues, God knows why I have blue. I'm probably going to add greens to it. And then I did have blues in the striping in the background on the chair that she's laying in, but then I wanted to keep reflecting that growth, the idea of growth and new ideas and youth coming out of the University of Munich. The fight is in the red. That's kind of what it represents, and their blood. They were willing to give their lives to help end the Nazi Party and to hopefully get their country back. And part of her speech was about Germany and what Germany really is and who the people really are, and that they aren't hate, they aren't nationalism, they aren't this murderous group, that the core of the German people are good people. And so that's her speech, sort of, and that's what I've written in there, and that's my portrait of Sophie Scholl. That's where it's headed. It's about 75% through. I'm going to get dressed in a little while, and I might paint live on YouTube. I don't know. You can never tell with me, or I might just sit around and drink coffee all day and play on YouTube, or play on the web. Most likely I'll be back painting, though. I'm very, very excited about it. I'm very excited about the lines and finding these little ways to express a tiny group of people who help to bring down a regime from within. I think that deserves a lot of respect, and it energizes me. What an incredible human being. Anyway, ciao.